Have you ever found yourself trying to select a subject in Adobe Photoshop, but their hair just isn't coming out right? This can be especially difficult for someone with curly hair or a lot of flyaways. Working with hair like this used to be very difficult in Photoshop, but thankfully, we're living in the future and we have options to deal with situations just like this. The first thing we're going to do is make sure that our layer is selected over here in our Layers panel, and then we're going to go up to our Object Selection tool, or use the W shortcut to bring that up. Technically, this could be anything that's in that row stack, so this will work with any tool that uses that W shortcut. That's because all I need is this Select Subject button to show up. So when we click the Select Subject button, Photoshop loads the selection of what it thinks our subject should be. Now, it's always a little bit difficult to tell how good of a job it did while we're just looking at the selection outline, so let's go ahead and add our layer mask down here at the bottom. So we can see it didn't do too bad. It selected all the intricacies of the hair, but it's just a little bit stark against our background, making it a little bit too obvious that it's cut out. So we might want to just soften this up just a little bit. So to do that, we're going to make sure that layer is still selected, and then go back up here to Select and Mask. With that tool up, we can see another button popped up on our top toolbar labeled Refine Hair, which is made for situations just like this. Now, I will give a quick disclaimer that I would only use this if you're working with a subject who has hair that's difficult to select. So those curly hair or flyaway situations that I mentioned earlier. If you try using this tool on someone with straight hair, it can make your selection significantly worse and make parts of the hair transparent. So it's one of those situations where we want the right tool for the right situation. So let's go ahead and click on that. Now the difference is a little bit subtle, but if we go down here and hit OK, and then click back and forth in our history panel, then we can see just how much of a difference that made. It just helps the hair blend a little bit better with our background than it was before. Now our next issue is that we still have these bits of red peeking through from our original background, especially over here on the left side. Now to fix this non-destructively, I'm going to create a new layer, either with the new layer button down here, or with the shortcut Shift-Control-N or Shift-Command-N on a Mac. And then we're going to change this layer's blending mode to color. And then we can add a clipping mask either by right-clicking on our layer and selecting Create Clipping Mask, or using the shortcut Alt-Control-G or Option-Command-G on a Mac. Doing this ensures that anything we do on this layer will only affect the layer directly beneath it. Next, we're going to go over to our eyedropper tool, or use the shortcut I to bring that up, and we're going to select an area of our subject's hair. Then we can grab our brush tool, or use the shortcut B to pull that up, and we can right-click anywhere on our canvas to bring up those brush settings and make sure everything is looking good. So we have a very soft edge brush here, and about mid-size, so that should fit our needs just fine. Now we can just paint over some of these areas to get rid of that red background. Now we don't want to go too wild with it so we don't lose too much dimension in the rest of the hair. We just want to do it enough to get what we want. So that's looking pretty good. Now the last thing I'm noticing is we have a little bit of ghosting in the hair, especially over here on the right side. We can see the edges of the hair are a little bit lighter than the background, making it obvious where the cutout edge is. Just like before, there are a variety of ways that we can deal with this, but I have the best luck using the burn tool. So let's make sure that our original layer is selected, and then go over here and select the burn tool. And up here at the top, you can see our options have it about 50% exposure, which should work just fine. And then we're just going to run this over the edge of that hair, just to make sure that we're getting rid of some of those lighter areas. Again, we just want to make sure we're not going too wild. We just want to do this enough so that we're getting rid of some of those artifacts that our selection tool left behind. But we don't want to do so much that the hair just looks flat and boring. We definitely don't want it all to look just one flat color. Once we have that where we want it, we can go back and check our history panel and compare where it was before and after our burn tool. And we can see just how much of a difference that makes. It just helps the hair blend in that much better. So now we have a professional looking cutout with all of the hair intact. And that's pretty much all you need to know about selecting hair in Adobe Photoshop. And now that you've mastered selecting hair, did you know that there's a new text tool in Adobe Photoshop that allows you to create dynamic, stacked typography with just the click of a button? I have a video right here to show you how.